Welcome back to our MAT-143 video series. In this video, I want to concentrate on how to differentiate between payment problems or future value problems. Let's start with this first problem that says we are buying a $200,000 house and making a $10,000 down payment. We're financing the rest with a term of 25 years and an APR of 4%. The question asks, what will be my monthly payment? In order to figure out which formula to use, PMT or FV, we first have to ask ourselves, are we taking out a loan or are we making an investment? There are a couple of words in this question that are going to hint you toward one or the other. In line 3 at the beginning, the question says that we are going to buy a house. And in line 4, it says we're going to finance some amount of money. Both of these words, buying and financing, will lead you toward the fact that this is a loan. We're going to owe money by buying this house, therefore we must take a loan to do so. Next, we must realize that because we are doing a loan, we must have a principal value. So we're going to start by finding that. First, we enter the price of this house and the down payment in dollars. The price of the house was $200,000 and the down payment is $10,000. You may recall from a previous video that if they give you a percentage, there's a little bit more math you have to do. Because this question gives us the down payment in dollars directly, we don't have to repeat those steps. We can just take the price minus the down payment to get the principal value. We will say equals, click on B7 where the price is located, subtract B8 where the down payment is located. This gives us a principal value of $190,000. Now that we have the principal value, let's look at the things we need to gather in order to solve a loan problem. We're going to need the APR, the N, the years, and the principal. Together, this will give us a monthly payment. Let's make some space for this in our Excel file. We'll say APR, N, years, principal, and PMT. Let's go back to the top now, and notice that at the end of line 4, we have an APR of 4%. In line 5, we are being told that the payments are monthly, giving us an in value of 12, and we have a term of 25 years. We'll type that into Excel. We also found the principal value earlier, that's $190,000. One final question when you're dealing with loans. Are we trying to find the monthly payment or are we trying to find something else? If you're just trying to find the monthly payment and you're doing a loan, you can use the PMT formula normally with no modifications. However, if we already know the monthly payment and we're trying to find something else, that is a goal-seek situation. To make sure, we'll read the question. In line 5, the question says directly, what will be your monthly payment? Because we are looking for the monthly payment, we will simply use the PMT formula normally. Therefore, we'll go to cell B18 and enter equals PMT, parentheses. The first term will be APR divided by N, so we'll say B13 for the APR, divided by 12, that's in B14, for the N, comma, the N times the years, so B14 for N again, times B15 for the years, comma, and the negative principal value located in B16. Close the parentheses and press enter, and we'll have a monthly payment of $1,002.89. So now we know the monthly payment on the loan for this house. Let's have a look at another example. This question says, if you start a college fund for your child by making monthly deposits for 18 years into a CD account with an APR of 4%, what must your monthly payment be if you want to have $20,000 in the account after 18 years? Once again, let's ask ourselves, is this a loan or is this an investment? There are certain words that will clue us in. First, in line 3, the question says that this is a college fund. And in line 4, we also see the words CD account. If you see the word fund or CD account, that's a hint that we're dealing with investments. Let's remind ourselves that for investments, we don't necessarily have to have a principal value. We might have one, but we might not. This is another difference between investments and loans. Loans have to have a principal value, but investments don't necessarily have to have one. To figure out if we have a principal value, we'll have to be careful about reading the question. Let's look for an amount of money that's mentioned. In line 3, we have no amounts of money written. In line 4, we only have a percentage, that's not an amount of money. And in line 5, we do have an amount of money. However, this amount of money, $20,000, is the amount we want to have later on. So that $20,000 refers to future value. We have no other amounts of money written in this question, therefore we have no principal value. If you're not given a principal value when you're dealing with investments, you can assume that principal value is 0. Now that we've recognized this, let's think about all we have to gather up to find future value. For a future value problem, we'll need an APR, the in, the years, the monthly payments, and the principal value if there is one. Let's go to Excel and make space for all of those items. Using Excel for those items will give us future value for our result. Now let's gather up our information. We'll start with the APR. When we read the question in line 4, we have a 4% APR. In line 5, we are asked about monthly payments, therefore our in is automatically 12 for 12 months in a year. We're going to be investing for a total of 18 years according to line 5 also. However, we are not given monthly payments anywhere in this question. In fact, the question asks, what must our monthly payment be? That means we don't know what the monthly payment is, and we'll paint that green. However, we figured out previously here in step 2 that the principal value is 0. Now that we've entered all of this data, we have one critical question to ask ourselves before we continue. When we handle investments, we have to ask ourselves, are they asking for future value, or are they asking for something else? Again, we have to check the wording of the question carefully. In line 5, it asks, what must our monthly payment be? They're not asking us for future value, they're asking for monthly payment. If they ask you for future value, we will simply use the future value formula normally. However, because we are being asked for something else, that's monthly payment, we're going to be in a goal-seek situation. Now, we're still going to need to enter the future value formula here in cell B14, but after that, we're going to continue by using goal-seek. We'll say equals FV, parentheses. For the rate, we'll take the APR in B8 divided by the N in B9, comma. For the number of periods, we'll take the N in B9 times the years in B10, comma, negative payment. We'll click the green box for that. Comma, negative principal value, that's B12, we know that's 0. We'll press enter, and the future value right now will say 0, but we will now goal seek this to the future value we wanted. Now the future value I've already written down here in step 2. That's $20,000. So we will goal seek our future value to $20,000. So we'll click on B14 where our FV formula is located, and we'll go to Data at the top of the ribbon, to the upper right where it says What If Analysis, and say Goal Seek, the second option. We want to change this to a value of $20,000, so in the middle box we'll enter 20,000. Then we click in the third box that says By Changing Cell, and at this point we click on the green cell, that's B11. Notice that B11 appears in this box. Now press enter, and press OK. Notice that now our payment says $63.37 every month. And our FV is replaced by these pound signs. That just means that Excel needs more room. So we'll widen column B to give ourselves just a little bit more room. We verified that the future value is indeed $20,000. So for our answer, we'll say that the monthly payment must be $63.37. So to recap, if we're trying to tell the difference between FV and PMT, we have to ask ourselves first, is this a loan or is this an investment? If it's a loan, we will also need to get the principal value. If it's an investment, we check the question and see whether we have a principal value or not. After that, we'll gather up all the information we need based on whichever formula we require, either PMT or FV, and then we have to decide if we're dealing with a goal seek situation or if we're not dealing with a goal seek situation. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon.